Hello everybody, how y'all doing? It is May the 14th, I believe, 2019. Thought we'd have a little video log and do some honing. I need to do these more often. Otherwise, what's the point of having a channel? Anyway, I thought I'd start off with a little talk about lapping, maybe, and then we'll go to honing. And then we'll talk about some dressing and Niagara, synthetic especially. This is roughly an 800 grit stone made by King. It's a soaker. But first I want to talk about coarse lapping and what I mean by that when I talk about it. That is an Atoma 140 plate. This is a Shapton 5000 grit Mccullough or professional series. Now when you're honing in razors, at least, and by the way, there's a chip here on my stone. I hit it earlier, so I need to chamfer this to eliminate picking that up easily. This stone is worn here along the edge where my thumb is tapping. Some black swarf. It also indicates a low spot. Now this is a 140 stone, which means that it really removes material. And I prefer it for coarse leveling over an Atoma 400 or a DMT 300 grit because it doesn't take 5 days and 6 worth of time. I wouldn't suggest using this every time, as you'll rip away a huge amount of your stone. However, for coarse lapping, 1000 grit and down, the Atoma 140 is excellent. And for chamfering stone edges, shoulders, it's also excellent. Now, you've lapped it, but what now? Well, you can't just leave it, not if you're going to hone razors. So you take a Niagara or something that sheds grit that's finer than your previous lapping tool, and hit your edges, by the way. Never just halfway do that. Now, I've removed most of the striations, and this is by the way, this is an Imanishi 3K synthetic Niagara for dressing, not honing. Maybe you could use it on knives. Wouldn't suggest on razors, stones. But as you can see, it sheds quite a lot of grit. Dress your angles. And what that does, it removes the high points on this 5K and brings it up to at least a 3K finish so that you can use it for razors. Okay? Alright. Now, I'm not going to dress this. I want it to cut coarsely for a while. This is a gold dollar razor. It's got a crappy bevel on it and some oil from the seller. So what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to take a worn out DMT plate. I'm going to lay it on here. I'm going to feel around, see if there are any massive issues. Now when you're honing, you have to start from somewhere. One of the things you do is you do all your shaping before you set a bevel. And by shaping, I mean setting the edge line to follow the spine line. And I'm going to do that now. The reason you do this before you hone is you'd be setting yourself back, and you'd be setting yourself up for all number of failures, because you wouldn't know where the good steel started if you didn't have a good microscope, which I do, but you may not. Do that until it's nice and clean. Shape up by the toe. until you remove most of the old edge bevel, and it's blunt. Now whatever you bring back will at least be good steel. I hope that makes sense. On this particular razor, the bevel flat down here should track your spine grind generally, so it should have a slight smile. Most vintages, the edge bevel line should track the spine bevel line. Most. On art razors nowadays, well, no, not all the same rules apply. We're going to set a bevel. I'm going to grip the spine here at the tang and put a little torque towards this section of the blade. It's important that you don't let your bench stone flop around, as that will give you a lot of issues. So hold it firmly or set it down on something. Watch what you're doing. Grab my paper towel here. Keep an eye on what you are removing as you go. That old swarf won't help you hone, so you might as well get rid of it. Watch your contact line patch as you go. Still got quite a flat. Don't stay in one spot too long, or you'll cause yourself grief. Watch what you're doing. There's just a few sections along the blade that are starting to get close. Starting to get somewhat of a toothy grip, but not much, not enough. If you're going to use a lot of torque, now is the time to do it. When you're hogging off steel that you can't hone on or you can't shave with anyway. Feels toothy. Let's see what we got. Now, if you didn't have a microscope, which I happen to have, a pocket microscope, you'd just join the edge lightly. And then go to your 1K to be sure that you were bringing up a clean apex heel to toe. But as I know what to look for through my little scope. I can tell that we're there. So I'm going to balance the edge. And I'm going light and lighter and lighter. Alright, that's all I need that for. This is a Naniwa Professional 1K, coarsely lapped, so it will perform aggressively right now. You need to pull off enough steel that you Do not leave behind any 400 grit edge scratches. Now the edge feel has changed. It cuts in evenly from heel to toe. This is probably clean up some of this loose grit and mess. No need to spread it around. Into other stones or your strop. I'm checking it on my pocket scope. Both sides, heel to toe. Checking the stria. Looking for issues or things left over from the other there we go. Polish that real quick. All right, a few more light laps. Here's where you're going to max out your 1K. If it's not cutting under smoothly, you're not going to get the most out of this stone. So nice smooth strokes. No real weight or torque. Heel to toe. Clean your blade. Keep it clean. Don't contaminate the next stone or the next process. Everything looks good. A nice smile. Heel to toe. Now, we're going to refine and shave this. Now, this video has been a long time coming just because I've been a busy booger. This is a Vermont green slate. And to prove a point, we're going to go, by the way, this is the matching rubbing stone. We're going to go from a 1K Naniwa Professional stone scratches to a finish. You don't want too much water and don't put too much pressure. I'm just gently rubbing. Let the number of laps pull up your slurry. Just keep it going. You can see it building. I know you can see that. You don't need an ungodly amount of slurry, but you do want to work through the bundles and work the entire surface of your slate. There's a good reason to do this. Make a nice thickish slurry. But like so. Rinse your blade again. No pressure, light laps at first. If we raised any large particles, we want to find that now. You understand? Add a tiny bit of intention towards the edge. And I like to use half strokes. Work heel to toe with your slurry while it's fresh. Get the most out of this slurry you can. You can see it changing. That's steel being added. I'm not going to tell you to use featherlight strokes because that would be pointless. You're doing coarse. You're doing coarse cutting right now with a fresh slurry. Tomo slurry, you might call it. You might as well use it while it's fresh. Time to work it down later. Balancing it out. Nice heel to toe. Working each section of the blade. You can see that it's not it's not crunchy, but it's a slippery, slimy, wet slurry. It doesn't drip off the blade easily. So we'll rinse it off. Put a little water on the wash my blade clean, and we'll check after we wipe it what we've got. Starting to look pretty good. Get some fresh paper here on my hand. Strop it to clean it. If you have a pocket light, now would be the time to inspect it, see what you're at. You don't want chips, of course, and you don't want stray stria running down to the actual edge. Now we haven't really thinned it down, so we're going to do that now. We're lightening up. We want to get the best apex we can. Thin that out some more. I'm using weight of the blade-ish. I've eked out about all I can out of with that last slurry. We're going to inspect the blade. It's almost water. We're going dead light now. I want to inspect it, see if I need any more slurry work. Clean it up. Seeing a very favorable apex. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. but it's not bad. So I'm going to strop it a little bit and see what it looks like after a strop. Using horsehide. I know you can't see this. I know it's probably irritating, but I'm just dropping it back and forth. I'm gonna check it against the light. Cut a little arm here. It's tree topping very well. There's no tugging. That's important. It's dry here against the grain. It's pretty nice. Sorry, blew that into the trash can real quick. Now, would I call this the absolute epitome of the best edge that this stone could provide? No. I would suggest 2 more, 1 more at a minimum, light, small slurries to close the apex. But I bet this will shave strikingly well, actually. I'll try to record the shave of this edge. But I wanted to show that if you are in a hurry and you only have, as long as you have at least a good 1K in that stone and time and practice, don't just think you're going to get it the first shot. That you can achieve a very nice near mirror polish. Off of this. It's more of a Kasumi finish than a polish, a mirror polish, but you could get that. I know that it's just not a shave, but I like the treetop hair. If there were any pulling or sharp pings, I would go back and raise another slurry. However, this is good enough for this video. I've kept you long enough. I'll shave with this very soon, and I hope on video. I should have time to do that this week. Cheers, y'all. Bye.